Hey, I'm Jamie East, and today's episode of The Smart 7 is sponsored by Vodafone Business in partnership with Samsung. If you're running a business, any kind of business, you're probably spending some time thinking about AI, what to do, how much to use it, and how to even get started. The answer could be in your pocket. The new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, powered by Vodafone Business's reliable award-winning network, will help you unleash your productivity through brilliant built-in Galaxy AI. For example, Note Assist will automatically correct, fix the spelling, formatting and organise your meeting notes so you can stay tuned into the session without any worry. Even if you're adept at AI, you might want to avoid using it in some situations, as an Irish MEP's gone viral this week for using AI to write a letter to EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. It was sent with good intentions, but it included a made-up story and lyrics from Swedish House Mafia. Getting back to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, to take advantage of all the features and change the way you do business, you'll need a Samsung account and a network connection. To find out more, search Vodafone Business Samsung, and for network verification, go to vodafone.co.uk/network. On today's Smart 7, Putin threatens Ukraine in call with Trump, Labour pledges transport investment, and much more. It's Thursday, 5th of June, it's Gingerbread Day, and happy birthday, Mark Wahlberg.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Prime Minister's Question Time on Wednesday saw Tory leader Kemi Badenoch back on the attack, but not about defence spending or about the upcoming spending statement. Instead, she was back on the topic of the winter fuel allowance.
How many of the 10 million people who lost their winter fuel payments will get it back?
Prime Minister.
Well, I'm glad to see she's catching up with what happened 2 weeks ago.
Away from the Commons, Chancellor Rachel Reeves was busy announcing a major round of funding for public transport for regions across the North East and the Midlands. The promise of investment comes before the spending review, which will be announced next Wednesday, and will see detailed budgets laid out for departments over the next 3 or 4 years. The Chancellor only has a very small surplus to work with, so the Institute of Fiscal Studies has been warning that there may well be some sharp cuts. On Wednesday, however, Reeves was focused on the positive.
We will be making the biggest ever investment by a British government in transport links, £15.6 billion in transport funding settlements to be delivered by our regional mayors.
Representatives from 57 countries gathered in Brussels on Wednesday as part of the Ukraine Contact Defence Group. The meeting saw fresh pledges of support for Ukraine, including one from the UK to deliver 100,000 drones, along with additional training for Ukrainian troops and fresh supplies of artillery shells. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte addressed the meeting and confirmed that Ukraine is getting an invitation to the NATO summit in the Netherlands at the end of this month.
NATO's long-term support to Ukraine is not about prolonging the war. It is about ensuring Ukraine can defend itself now and prevent any future aggression.
While the meeting was going on, Donald Trump was busy on the phone to Vladimir Putin. Trump posted on Truth Social that he'd spoken to the Russian leader for over an hour and that Putin told him Russia would have to respond to what he called a terrorist attack. The Ukrainian side didn't seem too concerned. An advisor to the Minister of Strategic Industries in Ukraine, Yuri Sak, was warning Ukraine may have more attacks planned.
We have proven that with a little bit of ingenuity and good planning, it is possible. But again, we have just shown that there are cracks in the Russian protection systems and they will be exploited going forward by us.
Wednesday saw criticism over Israel's action in Gaza continue to mount, but with no immediate reaction from the Israeli side. The aid distribution centres were closed and will remain closed on Thursday, while the IDF declared them combat zones after 3 days in a row where Palestinians queuing for food and aid were shot and killed. The UN's aid chief Tom Fletcher said that the horrifying scenes are the outcome of a series of deliberate choices that have systematically deprived 2 million people of essentials needed to survive. The UN Security Council held a vote calling for a ceasefire and immediate and unrestricted humanitarian access to Gaza, which was backed by 14 members, but vetoed by the US, as acting US Ambassador to the UN, Dorothy Shea, explained.
Any product that undermines our close ally Israel's security is a non-starter. This resolution would undermine diplomatic efforts to reach a ceasefire that reflects the realities on the ground and emboldens Hamas.
South Korea has seen plenty of drama in the last few months after former President Yoon Suk-yeol's attempt to impose martial law ended in impeachment. The snap election held this week saw Lee Jae-myung, who is from the Democratic Party, declared the winner. The complicating factor is that Lee himself has been involved in numerous scandals and is due to stand trial in the country's Supreme Court for violating election laws. It's not clear if the trial can now go ahead, but the new president was busy promising to unite the country with a flexible, pragmatic government.
It is time to restore our democracy, which has been destroyed by armored vehicles and rifles. Our livelihoods and economy, which have collapsed due to indifference and irresponsibility, and our national security and peace, which have been reduced to tools of political strife.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, in association with Metro, the semi-finals are set at Roland Garros, and Jessie J drops some shocking news. Right after this.
Hey, it's Jamie East here, and today's episode of the Smart 7 is sponsored by Vodafone Business in partnership with Samsung. When you're running your own business, pretty much anywhere can be your office. The spare room, the back garden, or, even the local cafe. And with the power of Vodafone Business's reliable award-winning network, combined with the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, there's no limit to what you can do pretty much anywhere. For example, if you're working and caffeinating at the same time, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra will allow you to seamlessly complete actions across a whole range of apps to find relevant information and send it where it needs to go. It can even summarise YouTube videos for you and save it to Samsung Text Notes. That's the power of AI in your pocket. Even if you're adept at AI, you might want to avoid using it in some situations, as an Irish MEP's gone viral this week for using AI to write a letter to EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. It was sent with good intentions, but it included a made-up story and lyrics from Swedish House Mafia. And getting back to Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, to take advantage of all the features and change the way you do business, you'll need a Samsung account and a network connection. And if you're using the seamless action across apps, it's compatible with selected languages only. You'll also need a Google account login, and the availability of search functions may vary by country, language and device. To find out more, search Vodafone Business Samsung, and for network verification, go to vodafone.co.uk/network.
Welcome back.
Things are getting pretty serious now at the French Open as we get down to the later stages of the contest at Roland Garros. Wednesday saw the quarterfinals wrap up with Coco Gauff beating fellow American Madison Keys to face France's wildcard Lois Boisson. On the men's side, Yannick Sinner knocked out Alexander Bublik, the man from Kazakhstan who had previously beaten Jack Draper. The evening game saw Novak Djokovic facing Alexander Zverev, and the German took an early lead, but it wasn't enough to stop Novak, who heads to a semi-final meeting with Sinner.
Yeah, it's going to be, of course, semi-finals of a Grand Slam against the number one in the world. There's no bigger occasion for me, so I'll try to do my best to step it up and perform as well as I did tonight.
Singer Jessie J has been through a lot for someone who is just 37 years of age. She was diagnosed with a heart condition as a child, had a stroke as a teenager, and briefly went deaf in 2020. She also revealed last year that she's been diagnosed with ADHD and OCD. She was back in the headlines on Wednesday as she posted on Insta, revealing that she's been diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer and is set for surgery this summer. In typical Jessie J fashion, she says she will play the Capital Summer Ball first, and her feed has been flooded with well wishes and praise for her bravery in speaking out.
Before No Secrets came out, I was diagnosed with early breast cancer. Cancer sucks in any form, but I'm holding on to the word early. I just wanted to be open and share it. One, because selfishly, I do not talk about it enough. I'm not processing it because I'm working so hard.
If you're keeping track, the new Fantastic Four movie is actually the fourth version of the comic book quartet story. For Marvel fans, a 2005 version which starred Chris Evans and Jessica Alba was probably the most successful, while nobody wants to talk about the 2015 flop with Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan. The new one is called Fantastic Four First Steps, and it's due to hit cinemas in July. The early buzz has been good, and it stars Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Eben Moss-Backrack and Joseph Quinn, who have to face new Marvel baddie Galactus in a 1960s-themed world.
Today, we are your defenders. The four of us will face the danger, and we will protect you. I finally knocked it off the list.
List?
The new spacesuits.
Oh. I take back every single bad thing I've been saying about you. To myself. In private.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Did you know that foreign investors are quietly funding lawsuits in American courts through a practice called third-party litigation funding? Shadowy overseas funders are paying to sue American companies in our courts, and they don't pay a dime in U.S. taxes if there is an award or settlement. They profit tax-free from our legal system, while U.S. companies are tied up in court, and American families pay the price, to the tune of $5,000 a year. But there is a solution. A new proposal before Congress would close this loophole and ensure these foreign investors pay taxes, just like the actual plaintiffs have to. It's a common-sense move that discourages frivolous and abusive lawsuits and redirects resources back into American jobs, innovation, and growth. Only President Trump and congressional Republicans can deliver this win for America and hold these foreign investors accountable. Contact your lawmakers today and demand they take a stand to end foreign-funded litigation abuse.